Hi guys, welcome to my new series on class setups for all the guns in Cold War. The first gun we're going to do is we're going to focus on the assault rifles first, then the subs, then the etc. So we're going to look at the XM4 for Black Ops Cold War. Okay, right on, getting right into it. The first attachment you want is the Microflex LED optic. This gives you a clearer sight picture than some of the other Cobra red dots or the quick dot or the mil stop. You've got a much wider, clearer picture, and it's far better in my opinion than the iron sights. The iron sights do not let you see a lot in this game, and it's all about posting up, waiting, looking down the lines of sight, waiting for people to run into your field of line of sight so you can beam them. If you can use the XM4 without a red dot sight, go ahead and do that. I'll show you later what attachments you can replace the Microflex LED optic with. So onto the muzzle. For public matches, you want to use the SOCOM Eliminator because it gives you the greatest vertical recoil control, and you get 85% muzzle flash concealment. What this means is that when you fire the gun for the first time, or you're firing it in succession, you only show up once, and you only show up once as a quick red blip on the minimap. A quick red flash, a tiny flash. The only way your enemies are going to see you is if they just happen to be staring at that minimap when you fire it, when you fire that first shot in your clip. So honestly, I think this is great. I think it's just as good as a suppressor. If you really want to go for the 100% concealment, use the agency suppressor. But for public matches, the SOCOM Eliminator. Okay, and the barrel. So we're going to be using the 13.7 extended barrel here with the XM4. So the 13.7 extended barrel is the best barrel in my opinion. This is because it gives you 100% bullet velocity, whereas this one only gives you 40% bullet velocity. Now, you might be saying, why don't you have 150% effective damage range? Because then you can go beam people for longer. The fact of the further distances. The fact is that the XM4 already has quite a high damage profile for an AR. So if you want to beam people at long range like that, go and use the Krig. That's the tactic. So XM4 is more of an all-rounder gun, and it's made for posting up medium range, and that's why we use the bullet velocity extended barrel, because it gives us that guaranteed medium range attachment for the gun. Again, the Krig is much better at longer range than the XM4. So if you want an AR that beams people at longer range, you should use the Krig. Okay, and the next attachment is the Field Agent grip. Needless to say, it's the best grip in the game. Vertical recoil control and horizontal recoil control allows you to really keep the gun under control when you're firing it or posted up waiting for someone to run into your line of sight. And the final attachment, on the fifth attachment, you want the airborne elastic wrap. This is going to increase your ADS for those rough, like close quarters engagements or those spots that you might make. It's also going to give you a better flinch resistance in case you are getting shot by someone. You know, you're going to have a lot better chance of hitting that person back straight away. And you can also use it for drop shot and if you want for those close quarters engagements if need be. And that's the XM4 for the my setup for the XM4. If you are running Gunfighter, just stick the steady aim laser on. There's no cons to it, and it gives you a better hip fire, which is great for those, you know, rough closer quarters encounters if you're in a pinch. 40 round mag, again, barely any downside, only going to give you more ammo, and because you're going to be posted up on cover, looking down lines of sight, waiting for the enemies to come into your field of view. The reload quickness, you're most likely going to be in cover when using this gun, so the reload quickness con is kind of irrelevant because you just take cover when you reload. And the stock, you want the radar pad. If you want to use the radar pad for that aim walking movement speed, which will negate most of the cons in a lot of the other areas that we've put on. This gun as a gunfighter class it's outstanding. It's so good. Highly recommend trying it. Now, for the competitive loadout for the XM4, you want to do exactly what I've put there, except Instead of having the SOCOM Eliminator, because in competitive, SOCOM Eliminator and Agency Suppressor are banned, you want to have the Infantry Compensator, because there's barely any cons to it and it's only going to give you better recoil control. So the horizontal recoil control is kind of irrelevant with the M4 because it is mainly a vertical recoil gun. So you want the Infantry Compensator if you're playing competitive. That's a big stress if you're playing competitive. If not, SOCOM Eliminator or Agency Suppressor. Okay guys, and that wraps up for the M4, XM4 for Black Ops Cold War. The next one we're doing is the AK-47, and that'll be in another video coming up.